A fundamental business mistake that kept me trapped today on the Daily Is Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Is Show, a show not just for rental housing providers, but anybody looking to get a little bit more white space on your calendar. Yes, we are in Baby Watch 2022, and we are down to like 10 days. So we have an induction date for October the 9th. So thank you for your prayers and well wishes. I don't know. I don't know that we're going to make it to that date because we are super close. And thanks. So Liliana will be making her way on the public stage here pretty soon. Well, I don't think public stage is the right phrase. But anyway, she'll be coming soon. I try to get too fancy in my words sometimes. All right. So what are we talking about? Is a fundamental mistake that kept me trapped for a really long time. And this is actually not really a story about me so much, but it's a story that I run into constantly. And these are just common mistakes that I run into when people contact me, and ones that I have to kind of talk them through and let them know what my mistake was. But this one is a story about a couple named Ralph and Beverly. And Ralph and Beverly, they have a muffler shop in Boise, Idaho. And they contacted me because they'd seen the show and they really wanted to get into buy and hold investing. They were, in fact, it is that they were sick of the muffler business, right? Being their own bosses, it checked a lot of boxes for them. They love it. I mean, they loved that it checked a lot of internal needs for them, but they hated the fact that they could never get away from it. They could never stop thinking about work, right? No matter if they were on vacation, at home, sitting on the couch, it's the only thing they talked about besides the occasional kids drama here and there, right? So I said, well, hey, hold on a second. I don't want to tell you about buy and hold investing if you've got this business over here, because you're just going to insert yourself into that business. I don't want you to get even busier and not have any time. And so they'd say, well, I said, what's fundamentally going on in your muffler business? I'm like, well, look, coach, I need systems, right? And I hear this all the time. Doesn't matter if they're buy and hold investors or really small business owners, small business entrepreneurs. This is the one thing I hear all the time. And I said, well, let me ask you. So you say you need systems. I see you see the value in having systems in place. What have you done so far? And they said, well, we bought a lot of expensive software, which they dropped a ton of dough, and they were doing all this tactical stuff, but they were not getting much traction, right? They were just doing, it was always the idea of the week is what Beverly had said. And I recognize what the idea of the week and what is and what that sounds like. But the fact is, what they were doing is they were trying to put tactics before strategy. They're trying to put tactics before strategy. And I'm going to use a quote here from Sun Tzu that tactics before strategy is the noise before defeat. What they were doing is they were constantly being focused on the next shiny widget. And they'd spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on these little things here and there that were supposed to enhance productivity. And to be honest, the fact is they really weren't being honest with themselves when it came to their muffler business. The real reason why they hated it so much is because they had created jobs for themselves. In fact, dozens of little jobs, from greeting the customers to doing the actual labor to answering the phone to making the bank deposits, opening the mail, cleaning the toilets, cleaning the office, the waiting area. It was endless. The fact was is that they were thinking that real estate was going to be their ticket to the passive income lifestyle that they longed for. And it can do that, but you've got to do it in the right order. Okay, so I told them about the vision infrastructure process method, the VIP method. For those of you who watch the show, you've heard me talk about this before, right? Vision is about where you want to go, specifically what is it you're trying to accomplish. Infrastructure is the desks, the chairs, the software, the things that, the bones of the business, right? And then the processes are the tactics. That's what you do. That all you run on the infrastructure that you built, that all stays in alignment with your vision for the future, right? So they understood and they started to take a top-down approach. They started to say, okay, that kind of makes sense. I invited them to begin with the end in mind, and let's look at their personal vision first. Ralph and Beverly, at the end of the day, what they really wanted was more time. The fact is, the kids were getting older and would soon be leaving the nests, sooner than later. That's how kids, the time seems to go fast with them. And Ralph didn't want to die feeling like he had the best years left in him. And Beverly, she just wanted to have Ralph where he could be emotionally present with her from time to time. They started focusing on their vision, on what they wanted. And they stopped, and when they actually stopped and did the tough work of asking the people in their organization what they wanted, that's when they really started to get some actual traction. The fact is, without a clear personal vision, if you're doing it for the sake of more, you're never going to have enough. And they realized that all the tactics wouldn't work if their strategy was wrong. And that strategy had to include good people. At the end of the day, the best investments that have always been, for me, the best investments have always been the one where I've invested in people. And sometimes that investment is in myself. Sometimes that investment is in my staff. But the ones that have always paid the biggest dividends have always been the ones that advance the individual from where they were to where they are. That's when you see them, or you see yourself. You see the apple and not the seed, right? So how do you make such investments? Well, you have to know where you're going first. It's been said that the speed of the leader is the speed of the organization, right? Well, that's also true of the direction of the leader. So you got to get clear on what you want first, you as a person. Then you can put a business vision in place that's in alignment with that personal vision, right? And with that business vision, you share that with your staff, you share that with your organization, and you can unite your people into one common direction and develop them into running an organization so you don't have to. Now, for the story of Ralph and Beverly, they did just that, and their business has boomed since then. Since they started doing it, it's been booming. They've been having a great couple of years. Now, I'll be honest with you, their names and businesses have been changed a little bit because honestly, it's not my job to put people's private business out there, especially for those that I coach. But they are representative of the people I teach and coach every single day, whether they own real estate or not, or simply doing their best to get out of their 8 to 5 W-2 job. So if, honestly, this is, if you'd like to have a conversation on how to do that, just drop me a line at landlordcoach.com. Be happy to have a conversation. And yes, of course, you can send a message out there wishing Jen well, because she is ready to have this child. So anyway, that's all I have for today, folks. Thanks so much for your well wishes and reaching out. And again, I'm always willing to have a conversation with anybody out there. Just reach out to me on landlordcoach.com. So please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. And most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.